On the news, Tinubu orders low-key celebrations for Nigeria's 64th independence anniversary. And bad governance organizers to stage another protest on October 1. And DHQ begins probe of bandit sponsorship allegations in Northwest region. Thank you for joining us on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I'm Simisola Tikun. As Nigeria approaches its 64th Independence Day, the federal government has decided to celebrate the October 1 Independence Day on a low-key basis. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, disclosed this at a World Press Conference in Abuja on Thursday, themed Reflection on the Past Inspiring the Future. Akume says the decision is in alignment with the current mood of the nation. TV360's Victoria Akonde completes the report.
According to the Nigerian government, the pre-independence briefing is an opportunity to showcase to citizens its scorecard recorded within its short period in office to reposition Nigeria through its reforms initiatives to deliver the dividends of democracy. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, who opened the defense of the Tinubu-led administration, highlighted its achievements while listing efforts the government has taken so far to cushion the impact of the economic reforms. He also reviewed steps being taken to create new opportunities on the short, medium and long term through diligent implementation of the Renewed Hope agenda.
Notwithstanding the daunting challenges, ceaseless efforts being made to cushion the immediate impact and to create new opportunities on the short, medium, long-term basis through diligent implementation of the Renewed Hope agenda. These policies and programs are being implemented for long-term solutions to these problems. They assure us all that in no distant time, trajectory of our socio-economic development will soar higher in the positive territory. In alignment with the mood of the nation, therefore, the 64th independence celebration should be low-keyed.
Earlier in his opening remarks, the Minister of Information and National Orientation says President Tinubu is implementing a series of transformative policies and reforms to address the missteps of the past and make Nigeria a leading African power despite challenges.
One of the significant setbacks to rural socio-economic development in Nigeria has been the absence of direct fiscal control by elected local government administration. In a landmark move, President Tinubu has taken a decisive step toward implementing local government autonomy by seeking a verdict from the Supreme Court. This action demonstrates his administration's commitment to a deep-rooted restructuring of the country, enhancing governance and development at the grassroots level, and also promoting effectiveness and accountability at the local government level.
On his part, the Minister of Works says the government is moving ahead to complete current infrastructure projects before initiating new ones in order to get value for money and reduce waste.
Four projects are going to be selected per zone, and then put money that we see these projects completed and also commissioned. We have a number of infrastructure development programs. We have the PIDF, and this PIDF is the second Niger bridge with section 2A and B, and the second Niger bridge is completed. We are working on 2A and 2B, and when we finish it, we will toll it. It's going to bring a lot of money to the federal government.
Speaking further, the Minister for Water Resources and Sanitation announced that arising from the current Alao Dam breakdown in Borno State, the federal government has set up a technical committee to assess the state of all dams in the country so as to prevent a repeat of the flood disaster.
We are bringing all the expertise on board to make sure that the Alao Dam is rehabilitated and new dams that needs to be constructed. Like for example, the Dase Hausa Dam in Adamawa, which are also be useful in containing the the flooding in Nigeria, basically along the River Benue axis, will also be constructed. So these are the efforts this administration is doing.
Other activities lined up for the independence celebration include interdenominational service at the National Christian Center in Abuja on September 29 and the national broadcast by the President on October 1st. Victoria Akonde, TV360 Lagos.
President Bola Tinubu has joined fellow Muslim faithful for a special Jumat prayer at the National Mosque in Abuja on Friday as part of the activities marking the country's 64th independence anniversary. Tinubu's arrival at the National Mosque was made known via a video shared by his special assistant on social media, Dada Olusegun. The president says he remains focused in his efforts to revive the economy and returning the country to its path of prosperity and sustainable growth. 7 months after it began the negotiations that ended with 70,000 naira as the new minimum wage, the federal government says it has begun payment and its consequential adjustments to public servants across all levels of the federal civil service. This development was disclosed by the spokesperson for the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, Bawa Mokwa, on Thursday. A warrant signed by the Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Madeyin, and addressed to the Budget Office of the Federation directed the commencement of the new payment. According to the warrant, which contained a breakdown of all workers across various ministries, departments and agencies, armed forces, paramilitary, federal universities, polytechnics and colleges of education, a total of 1,236,824 workers were included. The National Income, Salaries and Wages Commission revealed that civil servants under the Consolidated Public Service Salary Structure would earn per cadre. Some civil society organizations under the aegis of the #EndBad Governance movement have declared October 1, 2024 as a National Day of Survival to protest the prevailing economic hardship sweeping through the country. They say the protest aims to address grievances surrounding the fuel price hike, rising food costs, and the impact of inflation on the livelihoods of ordinary Nigerians. In a statement issued during a press conference at the International Press Center in Lagos on Thursday, the national coordinator of the Education Rights Campaign, Hassan Soweto, called on Nigerians to engage in the peaceful protest nationwide against anti-poor policies. The movement cited the lack of action from the federal government despite the #EndBad Governance protest of August, criticizing President Bola Tinubu's government for exacerbating poverty and hardship. The Senate has passed for second reading a bill seeking the establishment of a special security outfit to tackle illegal mining in the country. The bill was sponsored by Senator Mohammed Onowo, representing Nasarawa South, on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. In his lead debate during plenary, Senator Onowo says when established, the security outfit will be saddled with the responsibilities of safeguarding mining operations, enforcing mining/environmental and safety regulations, as well as promoting sustainable mining practices in the country.
This proposed piece of legislation has been painstakingly developed and streamlined to curb illegal mining, thereby providing avenues for harnessing the vast mineral resources in Nigeria, which has not been properly and exhaustively exploited for the full benefit of the country. As such, this bill is a bold legislative step geared towards the diversification of our economy by de-emphasizing monolithic focus on oil as the main source of the country's revenue.
This bill should be supported because we need to take every action that will safeguard these mining sites. In a way, it will also help to identify criminals around those areas. Those in favor that this bill be now read the second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has asked the Nigerian government to allow oil marketers to buy premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, directly from the Dangote Petroleum Refinery. The resolution was passed during a plenary session on Thursday, sequel to the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance sponsored by PDP lawmaker from Bayelsa State, Oboku Ofoji. While moving the motion, Ofoji says the move will address the scarcity of the commodity across the country. The motion was thereafter referred to the Joint Ad Hoc Committee of the Senate and House of Representatives for further legislative action.
Note that in view of the high demand by millions of Nigerians for PMX and the ordeal they go through to get it, the NNPCL should be allowed. The NNPCL should allow independent marketers to lift the product from the Dangote refinery. Cognizant that allowing independent marketers, mega marketers, along with the NNPCL to lift from the Dangote refinery will lead to competition, availability of product, hence reduction in the price of petroleum motor spirit, PMS. Mr. Speaker, the House is worried that the NNPCL and the mega marketers as exclusive off-taker spoil monopoly, which is tantamount to greed. This is the same NNPCL that has failed to manage our crude and refinery for decades in the past.
I think it will be a duplication of efforts. I am sure in the course of the investigation, the GMD will be called upon to answer questions. So rather than subjecting him to several visits on one subject matter, I think we should put our confidence on the Joint Committee, let them do a holistic job and report back to us.
Now to security matters, the Defense Headquarters says investigations into allegations of bandit sponsorship in the northwest region of the country is ongoing. This announcement comes on the heels of an exchange of allegations between the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawale, and Governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Edward Buba, spoke on the military's interest in the allegations during a press briefing on Thursday, saying relevant agencies are thoroughly investigating the matter. Buba added the military remains focused on defeating banditry in Nigeria by breaking the resolve of the criminals.
The killing of these notable terrorist leaders took place across the various theaters of operations, and so you are hearing names that sound from the north, from the south, and from the north central. Others that we also took out in the third quarter include Kachala, Baleri, Kachala, Halilu, also known as Buzu, Kachala, Deng Ali, Gering Fadama, Kachala, Basiru Zakaria, and Ofen Emmanuel Igwe, among several others that were taken out in the third quarter of this year. Overall, the troops in the third quarter of this year neutralized 1,937 terrorists, arrested 2,782 suspects, and rescued 1,854 kidnapped hostages in the course of the third quarter operations of this year. Furthermore, troops recovered 1,304 weapons, 43,347 ammunition, and we denied the oil theft of an estimated sum of over 13 billion naira during the course of our operations in the third quarter of this year.
A renowned anti-corruption group, the Save Nigeria Coalition, has criticized the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission over its handling of the prosecution of former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, describing the EFCC's actions as a shameful outing and a media trial that suggests a predetermined outcome. Speaking at a press conference on Friday, the group's country director says the EFCC's failure to detain Bello after he voluntarily presented himself for interrogation raises questions about the agency's intentions. The group also slammed the EFCC for allegedly writing barefaced lies and making what it called irreconcilable blunders in its attempts to prosecute Bello.
Despite having legal representation as allowed by the law in all the hearings, it is also integrating that the EFCC will attempt to play on the sensibilities of Nigerians, that the agency has no sacred cows and will spare no one in its effort to rid the country of its institutions of financial improprieties. We invite well-meaning Nigerians to ask the EFCC the following questions. Why did the anti-graft agency accede to the withdrawal of the 5 billion naira case against former governor of Gombe State, Senator Danjuma Goje? We were all in this country when federal government suddenly withdrew its case against Senator Danjuma Goje from the courts. Why has the EFCC not prosecuted former Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State, despite the monumental corruption allegation against him and the willingness of the present Benue State government to assist the anti-graft agency to unearth the endemic corruption that took place in the state during Otom's government? We call on Mr. President to intervene and call the EFCC to order as the unacceptable act of singling out a perceived politician, a political enemy, for persecution. If allowed, will become a big dent to his tall democratic credentials.
It's time for a break, but still to come. Israel defies ceasefire calls ahead of Netanyahu's UN address. Stay with us for details of this and other stories. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. As Nigeria approaches its 64th Independence Day, the federal government has decided to celebrate the October 1 Independence Day on a low-key basis. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, disclosed this at a World Press Conference in Abuja themed Reflection on the Past, Inspiring the Future. Akume says the decision is in alignment with the current mood of the nation. We also informed you that some civil society organizations under the aegis of the #EndBadGovernance movement have declared October 1, 2024 as a national day of survival to protest the prevailing economic hardship sweeping through the country. In a statement issued during a press conference at the International Press Center in Lagos, the national coordinator of the Education Rights Campaign, Hassan Soweto, cited the lack of action from the federal government despite the #EndBadGovernance protest of August, criticizing President Bola Tinubu's government for exacerbating poverty and hardship. In case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. It's time for some business news. Opoyemi Owosheni has the latest. What's going on, Opoyemi?
Well, Simi, the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Atiku Bagudu, has defended Nigeria's decision to float its currency, pointing out that the action was meant to shore up Nigeria's economy and attract more foreign exchange. Bagudu spoke at the interministerial briefing in Abuja ahead of Nigeria's 64th independence anniversary celebration. The minister says the decision, though painful, has already begun to attract positive results, going by the confidence being reposed on the Nigerian economy by global financial rating agencies. On his part, the Minister of Finance explained that the country is temporarily importing essential foods in the short term to bridge the shortfall and reduce hardship.
Mr. President has implemented a major innovation in facilitating that domestic refiners can buy crude from NNPC in Naira. The savings there are obvious, and I think it is a matter of time when the various benefits of such a scheme will feed through. And in addition, we do have lower oil prices, which means we lose on exports, but we do gain in terms of the opportunity and the potential for lower petroleum product prices.
Flotation of Naira is about confronting our reality. We just don't have enough foreign currency coming in. So the central bank, as an independent institution, Mr. President supported them to say, well, look, how was it done elsewhere? Countries that confronted that kind of situation. And it was judged best that you should not support a system where winners are choosing. You have to have a market-based system which does not determine winners, but give everyone opportunity. And with that, more revenue, more dollar will employ into the system. And when more dollar comes in, the exchange rate will stabilize at lower than it is. And we have seen signs of it.
We'll take a short break now and be back with Stock Market Report. Welcome back. The Nigerian equities market maintained its bearish streak on the last week day of trading, with the market declining further by 0.07%, leaving the market capitalization at 56.59 trillion naira. Now, in the aggregate, we see 123 listed equities participating in trading, ending on a negative note as 21 stocks advanced and 26 stocks declined. On the downside, Captain Offshore Support Group took the last spot, sliding down by 9.76% to close at 2.68 kobo per share. Out on its heels, we see Northern Nigeria Flour Mills, which didn't fare better as well, dipping by 9.5% to trade at 31 naira 90 kobo. Now, as the cuttings closed on the last weekday of trading at the Nigerian Stock Exchange, traders exchanged a whopping 797 million shares across 7,603 deals, racking up a market value of over 6 billion naira. Now, on the foreign scene, it's a different situation as stocks globally maintained a northward position and ended in the bulls. That's the UK FTSE, the US Dow Jones, and Japan's Nikkei, as you can see from the screen behind me. Now, in the foreign exchange market, the naira dipped further, trading at 1,700 naira against the US dollar on the black market. The British pound is valued at 2,265 naira, while the euro stands at 1,860 naira on the black market. That's the business and stock market update. Back to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Okwemi. And in other countries, Israel has rejected a push by allies for a 21-day ceasefire in Lebanon and vowed to keep fighting Hezbollah militant until victory ahead of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's expected address at the United Nations General Assembly on Friday. Israeli bombing of Iran-backed Hezbollah strongholds around Lebanon has killed hundreds of people this week, while the militant group has retaliated with rocket barrages. The United States, France and other allies unveiled the 21-day truce on Wednesday after President Joe Biden and his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron met on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly Assembly in New York, but Israeli leader Netanyahu flatly rejected the ceasefire proposal on Thursday, ordering the military to continue fighting with full force. In India, dozens of children have drowned while bathing in rivers and ponds in rituals that are part of a 3-day Hindu festival in eastern Bihar state, as heavy monsoon rains recently have raised the levels of waterways across the state. According to a statement from Bihar's Disaster Management Department, at least 46 people, including 37 children, drowned in separate incidents across the state's 15 districts. Authorities have recovered 43 bodies so far, while the 3 missing people are presumed to be dead. In response, the state government has announced a compensation of 400,000 rupees for the families of each of the deceased. Up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
English actor Idris Elba is set to portray Okonkwo, the protagonist in Chinua Achebe's classic novel Things Fall Apart, in the new TV series adaptation by American entertainment company. Elba, who will also produce the series, is best known for his roles in Thor, The Suicide Squad, Pacific Rim, and Beasts of No Nation. Variety exclusively reported the development on Thursday, noting that while no writer is currently attached to the project, the adaptation is still in its early stages and has yet to secure a streaming service or network. Elba will serve as executive producer alongside Gina Carter under the 22 Summers production banner.
With just one day to the end of the 11th edition of the All-Africa University Games, Team Unilag Women's 400 by 4 by 100 meters and 4 by 400 meters relay quartets have swept the gold, silver and bronze medals in both events on Thursday ahead of their Lagos rivals and co-hosts, the Lagos State University. However, the University of Ghana, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, as well as the University of Development Studies Ghana, made a huge statement for their country by winning the gold, silver and bronze medals in the men's 4 by 100 meters relay event. The games will end on Sunday, September 29, with a closing ceremony at Lasu. Still on sports, Premier League giants Manchester United have completed the signing of Chido Obi Martin after leaving Arsenal. According to transfer expert Fabrizio Romano, Man United have now received approval from the league to complete the deal for the 16-year-old. Obi Martin had spent 2 years in the Gunners Youth Academy after joining from Copenhagen in 2022. His 32 goals in 18 matches saw him scoop the under-18 Premier League Golden Boot last term. That's it on News Now. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.